In this week's Torah portion, we have the remainder of the 10 plagues, and God, if you like, introduces a new thing in humans' history, and that is the collective miracle. This is the first time in man's history where we have collective miracle after collective miracle, and you would think that after seeing this, Egyptians, Israelis, whoever you are, you know there is a God. And yet, no one seems to believe there is a God. In one of the most powerful verses in this week's Torah portion, in the middle of the plague of darkness, Pharaoh is furious. He calls Moses and says to him, "Vayomer lo Paro, lech me'alai, hishamer lecha, al tosef ra'ot panai, ki bayom ra'otcha panai tamut." Pharaoh basically says to Moses, get out, don't come back, and if you do, you will be dead. Where does Pharaoh have the confidence to say such a thing from? Hasn't he seen the past 9 plagues? Isn't it evident that there is a God? And you know what? He's on the other guy's side, on Moses' side. But it's not only Pharaoh and the Egyptians, also the Israelites. The moment we leave Egypt, and throughout the remainder of the time in the desert, we keep doubting God. What do I derive from this? Collective miracle does not equal faith in God. I'm sorry, but seeing is believing is a Goyish, Western phenomenon which does not work in reality, at least not in Jewish reality. Collective miracles don't work. I don't know about you, and I hope this is okay me saying this, but when the Messiah comes, when there's redemption, I hope it happens in a natural way. I don't know, like a state, things like that, because clearly miracles don't work. So what is the miracle here? What is the real miracle in Parashat Bo? If you ask me, it appears in one of the most beautiful verses, and it's at the start of the Torah portion where God explains to Moses why he is performing these 10 plagues, why he is introducing these collective miracles. And he says, "ולמען תספר באוזני בנך ובני בנך את אשר התעללתי במצרים ואת אותותיי אשר שמתי בם וידעתם כי אני השם." The reason I'm performing these miracles is so that by you telling the story generation upon generation after generation, only then will you know that I am God. Now what does that mean? It means that God is saying, I know that performing miracles, that seeing is not believing. I know that this generation who sees this is not going to believe. When will you know that I am God? When you've created this unpenetrable, this unbreakable link of storytelling, generation upon generation of who you are and where you come from. That is the greatest miracle. That is a greater miracle than a miracle that God can create. It's the miracle of man, of having faith, of keeping something on consistently from generation to generation, and God knows that. He knows the paradox, the irony, and that creating this miracle, that very generation back then is not going to believe it. It's not going to create the faith. Faith will only be embedded later on when we tell this story generation upon generation, and that is when you know I am God. Shabbat Shalom.